programs that are available through our Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. So we're the oldest and largest school of gerontology in the country, and we have programs that cover a variety of fields in gerontology that covers biology, psychology, sociology, and public policy. We approach studying aging holistically. But like I mentioned today, we're just going to cover two of our very more specialized master's programs, and each of our 6 GeroConnect sessions will be available in the future. So if you haven't been able to see them so far, I definitely recommend you eventually go and take a look at the other ones. And then we do have 2 more sessions that are coming up later this summer as well. We're located in Los Angeles, California. Our campus is very close to downtown, so it has access to plenty of restaurants, cultural centers, museums, everything that downtown LA has to offer. And it's a short metro ride or car ride to Santa Monica Beach as well. So there's plenty of things to do on campus, and we attract people from all over the world. So it's very easy to find a community while you are here. Like I mentioned, we're joined by a faculty member and a couple alumni. And so you'll get to hear from each of these wonderful people who have dedicated their time today to share a bit about what makes our school special. It's one thing to hear, the facts and the fun quips that we're able to provide as an admissions team, but it's another thing completely to hear from the people that have actually gone through the program or that teach in the program. You can get a much more specific and personalized view about what the impact is of our program. So hopefully we could provide that for you all today. And with that, we'll start with Dr. Francesca Falzarano. She's an assistant professor of gerontology here at our school. She's prepared some slides for you all today, and we'll be able to talk a bit more about the work that she is doing and the classes that she's teaching. So Dr. Falzarano, thank you so much for being here again today, and I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jake. Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all today. My name is Dr. Francesca Falzarano. I am a developmental psychologist and assistant professor here at the School of Gerontology. And you can probably go to the next slide.
If it will let me.
No. Okay. So I direct the Falzarano Family Caregiving Lab here in the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology, and we conduct a program of research that bridges principles of psychological, clinical, and translational science with technological innovations to enhance the well-being of older adults with a specific focus on individuals with dementia and their families. I know that we have folks here that are interested in both the applied tech program as well as the medical gerontology programs. The through line is the same. Technology is becoming increasingly ubiquitous in everyday life, and it's converging. This innovation is converging with massive trends in population aging, which is transforming what society looks like. So there is not an aspect of life or society that these two trends will not reach. Next slide, please. So in addition to my teaching responsibilities, I also I do research in technology. I also teach the Innovations on Aging Technology course, or the Geron Technology course, in the master's program. But I like to, this is kind of a snapshot of how I conduct my research as well as contextualize my courses. And that's first of all taking a 30,000-foot perspective of how we got here, of the massive changes in the population distribution and really the needs of this accelerating older adult population. So because you're all here for a gerontology focused webinar, I'm going to assume you know all of the surprising statistics that are associated with this growing population. And I think it's just important to contextualize in terms of understanding the scope of what older adults need and the types of solutions that we develop to address their needs. Next slide, please. So the concept of the rectangularization of population trends, where the shape of our population distribution has really transitioned from a pyramid to a rectangle shape as the baby boomers have reached older adulthood. So you can see that more baby boomers are reaching 65, and the bottom of that distribution is just getting narrower in width. And that means that individuals are living longer than ever before. With chronic illness and disability, these older adults have really diverse needs, ranging from cognitive functional mobility to psychosocial, and a heavy reliance on the health and long-term care systems to assist them. We have fewer people at the bottom of the distribution who can serve as family caregivers, and we have fewer individuals who are able to, who are in the formal care workforce with a focus on gerontology. Next slide. So I think AgeTech is probably well, I'm biased, but it's probably one of the most interesting fields possible because it's being forged in this very moment as I'm talking to you right now. It's a field that we're kind of developing. Those of us who are deciding to get involved are developing as we go. And it is a very interdisciplinary field to bridge and marry aging, gerontology, and technology to develop real feasible solutions that can meet the very diverse needs of the world's aging population. So that's not only just addressing the improvement of the health and quality of life of patients, it can have impacts on families, on healthcare systems, long-term care systems, employers, payers, providers, you name it. So there is a through line of this new kind of movement of technology and using technology in ways that the healthcare system may not be able to address or to kind of augment what's possible for humans alone. Next slide. So if you're not familiar with the gerotechnologist, I identify as a very big fan. She is very much at the forefront of mapping these trends in age tech innovations. And this is just a key example of how technology is being applied in different ways, from cognition to assisting with independence, helping older adults remain at home for longer and more independent, increasing access to healthcare, mobility, psychosocial functioning, and there's so many other implications just beyond what's listed on this screen. We have new technologies for remote patient monitoring, personal emergency response systems, wellness and proactive prevention for different diseases, different ways to facilitate independence, cognitive care. The list is pretty much endless. Next slide. So it really doesn't matter whether it's VR, hardware, software, and of course, the thing that has transformed and will transform healthcare is AI and applying AI. And the use of AI in the healthcare system, which is a big focus of my research and in my course, is filling these much needed gaps in the healthcare system that families and patients often fall through. It facilitates proactivity and prevention, so things like early and accurate diagnoses, personalized treatment plans, smarter operations. So by alleviating administrative load, for example, it can allow providers to spend more time with their patients and families. And it can also just enhance accuracy of diagnosis in tandem with, the providers. We're not trying to replace humans, we're trying to use technology to augment some of the challenges that we face with aging. Next slide, please. Yeah, so basically, innovations in technology are redefining what it means to age, and it's empowering longer, healthier, more connected lives, which is what we are studying under this umbrella of age tech. It's technology as a tool to help older adults with better quality of life, more independence, and to better meet their needs. Next slide. Yeah, there's a couple animations. Sorry about that. You can just, yeah, there you go. So, but just because you build it does not mean they will come. The kind of current approach to technology development is a top-down approach in which, some developers, they're usually young people designing for young people, come up with an idea, they roll it out into the app store, and they see how it does. Older adults, however, are really an untapped demographic in the development of technologies that are designed for them. So there's an adoption problem. And it doesn't matter if you're an engineer or a physician or a psychologist like myself. If we want to develop meaningful solutions, we need older adults to actually adopt and accept the technology. And when we kind of assume what they want using this top-down approach, it usually fails. So we at within my lab are kind of conducting this more bottom-up innovation using sci-tech, bridging psychological science and technology to basically inform the development of technologies that are developed in line with older adults' needs, preferences, and capabilities. So we really think about the user experience and how do different age-related changes impact an older adult's ability to interact with an application or a system. Next slide. So really kind of come at this AgeTech research and in my courses with the user-centered design perspective, and that's kind of including the end user throughout the development cycle from an idea's inception to its actual implementation. So it's designing with older adults, not just for them, and getting their direct involvement and input. And we need experts who are very well attuned to the various needs and situations and types of older adults that are, needing to use different types of technologies and tools. And so a user-centered design perspective is ensuring that technology is being intentionally developed with older adults' abilities and preferences in mind. Next slide. So sorry, the slide got a little bit messed up, but our logo was in the middle. It was just a little bit about the research that I do at the Leonard Davis School, but I lead the Falzarano Family Caregiving Lab, where we kind of bridge behavioral intervention science and innovations in technology to target mechanisms of change and enhance psychosocial well-being in older adults, patients with dementia, and their families. We basically use a user-centered design approach to our research and tech development, both front-end and back-end development, to make sure that the tools that we develop are useful and usable, but we're also establishing a methodological approach, kind of underpinning how we intentionally develop these tools. Living Memory Home is an example where we are gamifying reminiscence therapy for family caregivers and persons with dementia to kind of engage in a shared experience and improve psychosocial well-being. We are developing and testing CarePair, which is a AI-based self-assessment and machine learning, self-assessment and AI platform. It was machine learning at one point, then AI stole my thunder. But it's basically meant to personalize service referrals for dementia family caregivers and kind of do some of the work and mitigate some of the stress in finding suitable supportive services for them. Next slide. And so basically, this was just a very quick overview of all of the things that we talk about in my course as well as in my lab. And we really just underscore the urgency of the need for effective tech design. And that's only achievable by encompassing and incorporating and implementing these holistic interdisciplinary approaches and areas of expertise to meet the very diverse demands of an aging population. And it requires cross-disciplinary collaboration. Those of us in the AgeTech space kind of understand that it takes a village to actually implement these tools into the real world. And so everything we focus on here is about the potential for real world implementation and scalability. And the only way that we're going to do that is by having interdisciplinary expertise who have very different viewpoints and perspectives on the healthcare system and how we can incorporate these tools. But most importantly, we talk about how we design not only for the current aging population and their needs, but also the population that the world that we really want to age into. So it's really kind of a fast-paced type of area of research that is flourishing and it's continuing to accelerate. And that's kind of a little bit of a summary of what we do here. And I'm happy to answer any questions. My email is on the next slide. We can chat anytime and you can feel free to contact me. And I will now turn it back over to our hosts.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Falzarano, for sharing more details about, what technological advancements actually look like in the field right now and how you're being involved with those things that are happening. So with now that we've heard the faculty's perspective a little bit, I'd like to shift focus to our alumni so we could hear a bit more about their experiences having recently graduated from our programs. So we'll start with Doris Redman, who recently graduated from our Master of Science in Applied Technology and Aging. She was actually our first graduate from the program. So she'll be able to tell us a lot about her journey and what she's been able to do since graduation. I'll pass it off to Doris. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jake, and everyone attending. I'm really glad to be here to share my experiences with you. And thank you so much, Dr. Falzarano, for that overview. You just shared everything that got me excited about the field. So, so that's I really appreciate that. Appreciate your work. As Jake mentioned, I was the first graduate for the MSATA program, which is Master of Science Applied Technology and Aging. I wanted to talk today and share, why, not only why I chose the program, but also how I've already been able to apply it and how it added real life value. So I am a licensed administrator. I spent the last 4 years working in an assisted living and memory care community. And before that, I was working in more administrative capacity at home offices for um, uh, care providers. So I'm really deeply interested in the program. Working directly with older adults was wonderful, but I realized there was, as Dr. Falzarano mentioned, there's this coming change to our society, to the demographics. Technology is changing rapidly. There's a huge need to find people to fill these gaps. I got to witness it myself, so that was kind of my start of my journey. Next slide, please, Jake. The highlights of my experience, I really wanted to share a couple of highlights. Admissions counselors, don't underestimate how helpful they can be. When I, came and joined, I wasn't quite sure, which program. I knew I had to be affiliated with, the USC gerontology program. And then my admission counselor, who was Stephen, incidentally, thank you again, talked to me about this new program they had going on, and it just fit me perfectly. So please take the time and talk with your admissions counselors. They can really be a good help in guiding you into a program. I also did the online program because I was working full time. That can be a little scary for some people, I know. I loved it because you can attend synchronously or asynchronously if work got in the way. So really, I felt I had a lot of success. There's still a lot of interaction, a lot of time spent with classmates and instructors. I also encourage attending in-person events. I did that. The gerontology program puts on some really interesting and fun events, and it's a great time to network and have some in real life meetings with some of your cohorts. And the professional guest speakers, that was really, I think, the biggest pleasant surprise was just the quality of guest speakers in all of my classes. Industry experts, legislators, people policymakers. It was just very, very impactful to get to hear from so many people in the industry. My favorite courses, I list here 3 that just personally had the biggest impact on me. There was the age-friendly environments and injury prevention. I think kind of coming into, you think you're taking a technology focus and you forget that the applied part of applied technology really has to do with, it's broad, it's making that social impact, it's really applying things in a real way in real life. And so that one was super impactful, kind of opened my eyes to the design for all. Case studies and leadership change management, also excellent. That one really helped me narrow down on some career paths that you can do with the gerontology. Change management, huge. If you're going to be an innovator in the space, and you need to know how to get people on board. And also he covers grant writing in there, which also comes in handy. So again, that was very personally helpful. And then the last one with Dr. Cicero, the perspectives on a changing society. That again really drove home for me, as Dr. Falzerano mentioned, these changes in society, how aging is viewed, and the importance of working first and doing that bottom up design and development for older adults is super key. Next slide. And just to give you an idea of how I applied it, assisted living environments, if you're not aware, it provides a home-like community for older adults, assistance with their daily activities, bathing, showering. We get our residents stay for about 22 months, but just taking a look at these pictures of the actual community I worked in, how many areas do you see for applied technology? There's opportunities for lighting, for Wi-Fi, for furniture design, for safety. So really, gerontology touches so many aspects of work, whether you're an engineer, whether you're an interior designer or architect, whether you're a tech, focused person on networking. There's a huge, huge need for meeting the needs of older adults in an appropriate way. The next slide. And here's just an example of some of the programs in every community, physical environment and safety, well-being, personal care, nutrition and dining, enrichment programs, and then other ancillary services like, transportation, getting them to their doctor's appointments. Each one of these aspects in a community, I was able to, think through, how the programs are working. Are they meeting the needs of the residents? How can we make improvements? Where are there opportunities to innovate? How can I help my caregivers be more efficient at their jobs? So there's a ton of things that apply technology, and just having the gerontology mindset. I get excited, sorry. But it was just really exciting to be able to see how big the need is and how many solutions there are when we're willing to step in and take them on. Next slide. And there's my contact information. Again, I'll stay on for any questions that anyone has, but I'm on LinkedIn, and feel free to reach out by email. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Doris, for sharing your experiences that you've been able to gather in the professional world with this degree. And now that we've talked about the technological side, we'll talk a bit more in depth on medical gerontology with another one of our alumni who are here today, Tiffany Veeder. So I'll pass it over to Tiffany so she can talk with you all more. But let me actually pull up your slides real quick here as well.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah.
I also want to say thank you, Stephen, for inviting me to speak today, and thank you to Doris and Dr. Falzerano for your informative talks as well. You can go to the next slide. So, hi guys. So I'm Tiffany, and I am in the Masters of Arts in Medical Gerontology program, or MAMG for short. So I started in the fall of 2023, and I graduate this year. I am actually currently a student, not quite yet an alum. I'm a biochemist from Seattle, which is actually where I met Stephen and where he actually introduced me to this gerontological field. And I was a TA for the end of life care class offered here at USC. And next slide, please. Thank you. So, a few reasons on why I chose to go to USC. As Jake said earlier, if you're going to go into this gerontology field, USC is actually the first and largest institution on aging, and it's also a global leader in aging research. So, if you're interested in those things, this is the school for you. What I also really liked about it was that they have great academic offerings, so the classes are very diverse, and so you're never bored and you're always learning something new, which I've really much so enjoyed. It's a private institution, which for me means small class sizes. So for my learning style, I appreciate having the professor respond to me in a timely manner, but also getting to know your professor. So that was a plus. And the Trojan network is everywhere. So online, if you haven't been to USC, what it means is like, oh yes, maybe you're more likely to get a job or an interview from another Trojan. But what people don't tell you is that you'll probably see, like once you're a student, you'll notice around other people wearing USC swag from all around the world or wherever you go. Like usually, like my most previous experience was in Portugal. I at least encountered 5 different Trojans. So it really is everywhere. And then another reason why I chose to come here was, especially after meeting Stephen, I actually started realizing that the world is aging. My community, my neighbors, my friends, my family, everybody was aging. And I was like, wow, so this is really the time to get into this field. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so my experience at USC. So it really is a true Trojan family. And what that means for me is like as soon as I walk on campus, I just feel calm and everything is so mellow and the people are so nice and friendly and they're really so open and they always want to get to know you. So that is really feels like a home and a community. And what I really like about the program in general is that they offer internships. So for me, I did hospice care. But some programs have it required, but for mine, it was an elective. So on your second year of the program, you're able to be matched with a potential employer to gain real world experience. And I thought that was a great opportunity. But I also like how the program enables you to attend conferences in aging. So a specific one that I went to was the CALA conference in Palm Springs, of which is a conference that provides novel research, presentations, but they also allow you the opportunity to meet with potential employers. So it's a great opportunity for that. I currently do research at Los Angeles Jewish Health on nutrition and chronic diseases. And I also recommend, I did the study abroad through Leonard Davis, and they go anywhere between Europe to Asia, and I highly recommend it because I have been able to answer some interview questions that honestly I would not have been able to answer if I did not go to the study abroad. So if you can do it, I would highly recommend. In terms of the coursework itself, it's pretty moderate, but the curriculum is all medical based. So anywhere from cardiology, nutrition, pulmonary, neurology, and everything in between, it's getting hit. And it's all novel topics as well, so everything's up to date and current. But what makes this program special for me is that actually you get a certification out of it. Well, you have to take the exam, but if you take the exam, you get a certification to become a health coach out of it. So it's not just another degree that you tally up that you may or may not use. You actually stand out after completion of the exam as you're now certified and licensed to work with patients. Next slide, please. Thank you. So my advice, so I would say join the clubs and if you can and do this study abroad because with the clubs, you can parallel them to your degree and they offer many traveling opportunities at an affordable or discounted rate. Like I have been able to go to 16 different countries and 10 different states because of this, and all of it is aging related. So I have been able to see how different countries handle the aging population. So if you can, I highly recommend doing it. Also, go to the school hosted events and socialize with the faculty and peers. Everybody's so welcome you with open arms, and they really do want to get to know you. And of course, go to the football games. It's not USC if you don't. And I also wanted to say real quick on this slide, upon my study abroad, you can see the sign for elderly people. So on some countries that have higher aging rate than like the US, they actually now have signs that say, caution, please be aware of our older adult population, which I thought was pretty cool and unique. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what I'm doing currently is now I'm at the end of my gerontological career of my program. I am studying to be a certified health coach, and I actually even had class earlier today for it. And I hope to take the exam in September. Next slide, please. Yeah, and thank you guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Tiffany, for sharing your experiences here. Let's see
Of course, and
here.
I'll also put my email in probably if I can in the question thingy. Oh, okay. Well, my email's tveter@usc.edu if anybody has questions. I'm sorry, I forgot to put it in the slide.
It's okay. We could include it in emails as well that we'll send to everybody after.
Perfect.
We will go back to our other presentation here. All right. So now that we've heard from our guests, then I wanted to tell you all a little bit more about the details of the admission process for these programs. If you're really interested and want to kind of get started, it's good to know a little bit more about the logistics of how that works. So I'll start by talking a bit about our Master of Arts in Medical Gerontology that Tiffany is currently a student in. So this program is great because you'll get learning experience from people who are currently practicing in medicine, and you'll get much deeper knowledge than you would from an undergraduate program. A lot of students come into this program having done like pre-med coursework in their undergraduate degree, but this really gets more into, case studies and working a bit more like how the healthcare system works and how it works, for or maybe against older adults and how to really set up the system to benefit older adults coming through. And you could do this program full time in as little as a year. So a lot of people use it as a gap year program before like medical school or another program like that. And you can start it in any one of our 3 semesters. We're a semester-based program, not a quarter-based. So you can do that. You can do it online or in person, like we've heard both Tiffany and Doris mention as well. Students with this degree, like I mentioned, can do a gap year program and set themselves up really well to be a competitive candidate for really any allied health field program. If you want to do physical therapy or psychology, really anything like that. But if you don't want to go into practicing healthcare and medicine, you can still go into a field that's related to healthcare, like medical sales. You could do consulting, administration. We have students who really do a variety of things related to healthcare, not just going into a practitioner role. So if you're really just interested in how the healthcare system works, it's a great program for you to then get into more depth and see what other opportunities are available to you. The other program that we've discussed today is our Master of Science in Applied Technology and Aging. This program can also be done full-time in 1 year of study. And so it has that same kind of flexibility as well of being able to do it online or in person, starting at each of our 3 semester options. And this program is where you'll really learn to apply technological innovations to the field of aging, like we have heard from Dr. Falzerano and from Doris, to be able to make the aging process go more smoothly for older adults, to create technology websites, products, goods and services that are designed to specifically cater to that population of individuals that, like we've discussed, is often overlooked. And with this degree, there are a lot of companies that are really building out their, product development, their UX UI design, to keep that in mind, to keep older adults in mind. So as like Doris mentioned, with those great photos that showed a bit of the living spaces, you can see where the engineering, the design comes in, and the healthcare aspect of working with those individuals to make sure their needs are met. And so this is something like we study gerontology holistically at our school, and this degree program is a fantastic example of that. You'll have a little bit of everything kind of coming in under the larger umbrella of technology and how it impacts the aging process. But while you're here, even outside the classroom, we've heard a little bit of it from Tiffany as well, is that there's plenty of student events, and we cannot stress this enough to take advantage of these events while you are here, because you can interact with your faculty outside the classroom. You can make great connections with your peers. Even if you're an online student, you could still come to campus and get that in-person experience, and have some incredible food. We have wonderful food at these events, and you see different presentations, different maybe like research that's being done in the community. So there's tons of things that are happening on the campus here as well. And if you would like to apply, some important things to keep in mind about what's going to be required of you through the application process. So you'll need a online application, which is just all of your personal information that's filled out through the USC graduate application. You'll need an updated resume with anything that you think is relevant to the degree program. A statement of interest, which is a great opportunity to introduce yourself as a student and help the committee get to know you better, about why you're interested in studying gerontology and why you're interested in attending USC. You also need 2 letters of recommendation. They could be professional or academic references, maybe a professor or a supervisor who could speak to your, ability to handle an academic workload, your work ethic, things like that, and why you'd be a good fit for our program. And then, of course, we'll need your official transcripts from any university that you have attended for at least one course. There is a web page that we have that can really walk through the specific requirements that what makes a transcript official. So if you have any questions about that, it can be kind of confusing. You could reach out to one of us or respond to the email follow-up that we'll send you all later as well. We can talk through that more in depth and send that resource to you. The international application documents are very similar. You'll need those materials that I just discussed, but then some other specific ones like an English proficiency exam. Depending on the test is determined, the score that you need to get. So it's a bit different for each exam, but we do have that resource available to you. And then there's also some additional financial documents and visa requirements. And if you have any questions about those specific documents, then you can contact our Office of International Services, and they'll be able to help you with that in more depth as well. Deadlines are super important to know when you have to apply. If you are looking at starting in 2026, our applications will open in September, and so you can start working on those. If you would like to start in the spring, that would be in early January. The priority application will be October 15th. And if you want to start in the summer or the fall of 2026, then the priority deadline will be March 15th of next year of 2026. The good news is that if you don't meet that priority deadline, you can still apply because we accept applications on a rolling basis after these deadlines. And so if you have any questions at all, again, we are here as a resource for you and can help you through that. If you are really excited about a program and you want to get started even sooner, there is some availability to start in the fall of 2026, but obviously you want to start that as soon as possible. Excuse me. So this is our admission staff. A few of my colleagues are on the call with us today. And so after the session, we will reach out to you. One of us on the team will reach out to you to thank you for coming, provide some extra resources for you. So be on the lookout for that email. If you have any questions that are not covered in today's session or that you don't get to ask in the Q&A, you could definitely respond to that email and ask us at that time. So with that being said, we kind of given our presentations to you all, thrown a lot of information at you. So if you have questions that you have for myself or of course for our wonderful guests who have taken the time to be here today, what you can do is you could type those in the chat and then we will be able to answer those for you. And I'll stop the presentation so we can, let's see here, stop sharing. All right, perfect. All right, so it looks like we don't have any questions yet, but as you all are typing, I do have a few questions that I think we could start with. So I'll start with Dr. Falzarano. So you had mentioned some things like really interesting things that your lab is doing and things that you've kind of created and are working with. And I think a lot of people would like to know how to get involved in that process. As a student coming to campus, that might be maybe a little intimidating or confusing about where to go to find the best resources. So what can you say for a student who might be interested in taking advantage of these opportunities?
I have to say, I know it could be intimidating as a new student, but I think the entire faculty is very open and eager to involve students in our lab. All it takes is a simple email. Tell us how what you're interested in. For me, I'm always interested in meeting new students. And you can just shoot me an email. We can spend some time chatting and we can talk about your interests and how, our research kind of fits in with your professional goals.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, again, it's very, I think, intimidating, like you said, but all our faculty members are very accessible. Yes.
And another thing, oh, I'm sorry, my dog is barking in the back, but I will say the directed research courses that Jake, I don't know if you have more information about, but that's also a great way to get involved and to work one-on-one with a faculty member.
Yeah, absolutely. You could reach out to a faculty member and kind of start that initiation. But it's also a part of your curriculum to be involved in research as well. You could do it as a elective course, or it's a few of our programs have that baked in as well. And so that's a good way. If it's a little intimidating to kind of reach out and do it organically, you can have it kind of baked into your curriculum and have that kind of that introduction kind of provided for you, that first step. So that's also something that you could take advantage of as a student here. Another thing that I was curious about, I think, Tiffany, you had mentioned that you did an internship, but it wasn't a part of your core curriculum. It was an elective credit. And so can you talk a bit about why that was important for you to get that internship experience and how you kind of went about that process?
Yeah, so the internship experience is offered, like I said, during the second year. And it was important for me because currently, during the first year, it's pretty much like coursework, right? And in classroom. And it's like, okay, great. Classroom is very exciting to learn about, but I really wanted to get that real world experience and utilize what I learned in the classroom to the real world. And so that process is you get to pick like your top 20 potential employers who will hire you, and then hopefully you get a match. And I was matched with the hospice care team where I now have 9 patients. And basically now I do get to utilize my patient-centered care and all of the psychological and some medical things I learned in my classes.
Perfect. Yeah, that's incredible experience that, the classroom is really great opportunity to kind of build that curiosity, and then you would then have the ability to go and see how that plays out in the professional world. We've had a few questions come in from participants here. Let's see. So Michael asked if any labs at the Leonard Davis School conduct research using animal models like mice or focus on cellular and molecular work, like studying at the mitochondrial level. So we actually do have a whole research lab run by Dr. Rio Sanabria, who focuses pretty much entirely on the mitochondria. And so that is definitely something that I would recommend checking out on our website. And we also have a few different labs who are doing research with like animal specimens, like mice. There's one of our faculty members, Bernice Benayoun, is working with the African turquoise killifish that ages fully their life cycle in about 6 months. And so they study how different diseases impact that species. And they're one of the only labs in the country and probably the world doing this kind of research with this specific species. So we have plenty of work like that is going on. That's just a couple of examples. And our building, it is kind of really cool to be in this building working every day because there's some really great things happening, and just professors, people you'll see in your day to day that are at really the forefront. And we bring people even from outside the school to our campus to do colloquium lectures and talk a bit about research that hasn't even been published yet. So plenty of opportunities to be more involved on the research side of what is happening. And then I believe that was all of the questions that have been typed and answered. But I'll ask a question of Doris as well while you're here. So, as somebody who went through the Master of Science in Applied Technology and Aging, the first graduate of the program, and entering a field that's relatively kind of new and budding, as someone who was a kind of mid-career professional, having plenty of experience before doing this degree, what did the degree program really do to elevate your resume,
Mhm.
your professional experience to kind of like set yourself up for the next stage of your
Mhm.
career?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Jake. Thank you. Because I think as I mentioned when I came in, I knew there was, gaps in my knowledge or things that I wanted to explore further. But what it really did was it took my thinking from thinking so local and so small to a lot bigger. And I think that's what's really set me up for the next phase of, doing the consulting work and things that I do now is just really getting that big picture of not only just the needs, but the solutions and collaborations. I attend a lot of the AgeTech events just to stay on top of the changes and the things that are coming down from research. And there's lots of things that people are trying. We'll see which things stick or work, but it's just really exciting to get in that headspace of the bigger thinking, of the bigger picture. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much to everyone here for giving us your time, our guests. I know you all are very busy with your daily lives as students and professionals. So I really appreciate you taking the time. As I've mentioned before, us on the admission staff will reach out to everyone who attended today to follow up. If you have any questions, you could directly respond to us. And the recording of today's session will be published to our website within the next month or so here. So be on the lookout for that. But again, thank you all for attending our Gero Connect session. We will have another session next week on Tuesday, July 29th. So please, be on the lookout for information about that session as well, and feel free to register for that at the same link that you did for today's. Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.